welcome back to my channel. I am Lora Rolling and this is part 3 of the Chilly Gnome Ornament tutorial. We are calling this part the Snowflake Triangle. So here comes the material list. Okay, so for this cute snowflake triangle, we are going to need a few materials, and of course let's start with our Delica beads. I am using 4 different colors in this pattern, and these are the Miyuki 11 Delicas. I get them from the hobby store, and I'm going to use Crystal AB, which I'm calling silver in the pattern, chalk white, opaque black, white pearl AB. So just the 4 colors. You can choose your own colors if you want, but if you're just going on exactly what I'm using, that's what I'm using. You also want some beading thread. This one is the Eslon Fire. It's very similar to Fireline, and this is in crystal. That's the color, crystal, and this is 4 pound. You can also use 6 pound if you want, and then a size 10 beading needle. I also use the fire method to end my thread, my tail, and that's how I hide my tail. If you just prefer to tie a knot and weave that extra tail through your beads later on, then that's up to you. You can totally do that too, whatever method you prefer. And then you're also going to want something to cut your thread with. I use wire cutters, and long nose pliers I just use to hold the thread. So that is the material list. Let's start making our cute little snowflake triangle. Oh, I also wanted to show you that I do have a pattern that I go off of. I created this pattern and then I put it as a downloadable printable in my Etsy shop. So if you prefer to have it like on paper instead of watching a video, or maybe doing both side by side, then you can find that link down below in the description. So we start with threading our needle with 3 feet of beading thread, and then we're going to take our lighter and find the tail end of the thread. We are going to not touch the flame to the thread, but just get close enough that it makes a little teeny bead. See? Just a little teeny bead, that's all it takes. And now we're going to start out our first row by picking up 3 X beads. These X beads are black in my case. If you're using different colors, then you'll definitely want to write down that when I say black, it means I'm using an X bead. Okay? Now we're going to make a square knot, which means you pull it through the circle 1 time, and then you put the tip through the top of the circle, and it kind of makes a little snowman, and then you pull it to where you can fit 2 fingers in. That's my method anyway. And then I tug on the long piece of the thread until this short piece attaches itself to the long piece, and just like that. And then I take my thumbnail and I put it right on that knot, and I pull the thread, that knot down all the way to the 3 beads I just put on. And now that is completing our first row. See how easy that was? First row is already done. Okay, so our second row is going to be 2 black beads, and we're coming out of this bead, we're going to sew through the next bead. And pull it as close as you can to the other beads, and this is what it should look like. Now we're going to pick up 2 more black beads and we're going to sew through the next bead. Pull it fairly tight, and this is what it looks like. Now we're going to pick up 2 more black beads and sew through the next 2 beads, just like that. And that is what we call stepping up. So we're stepping up to the next row. Oops, I just lost it. There we go. So this is what we have now. Okay, moving on to row 3, we're going to pick up 2 beads and sew through the next bead. The hardest part is the first 4 rows because it's such a tiny unit at this point that it's just hard to hold with your fingers. But once we get a few more rows in, it's much easier to hold on to the unit. Our next bead is going to be 1 black bead, and then we're going to sew through the next bead. Then we will pick up 2 more black beads and sew through the next bead. And then we're going to pick up our first white bead. This bead I'm calling a C bead. So I'm going to call it white, but if you're following the pattern, then it's a C. And sew through the next bead. Then we're going to pick up 2 black beads and sew through the next bead. And our last bead of row 3 is 1 black bead. And now we're going to sew through the next bead and also through the bead next to that. So we're stepping up. And this is what you should have now. Moving on to row 4, we're going to pick up 1 C bead, a white bead, and 1 black bead. Oh, was I calling that an X? Oh no. So 1 white, 1 black, and sew through the next. 1 black bead and sew through the next. 1 black bead and sew through the next. 2 black beads and sew through the next. 1 white bead and sew through the next. 1 white bead and sew through the next. 2 black beads and sew through the next. Okay, now we're going to pick up 1. This is an L bead in the pattern. We're going to call it pearl. 1 pearl bead and sew through the next. 1 black bead, and we're going to step up, so we're going to sew through the next and then the one next to that as well. And that completes row 4. Moving on to row 5, we need 1 white bead and 1 black bead. 1 black bead, one black bead, one pearl bead, two black beads, let me just make sure that I am in frame. Oh, yeah, right in the center. And that's good. I have to stand up to make sure I'm in frame. One black bead, one white bead, one black bead, and now we are at a corner point where we pick up two black beads. One black bead, one black bead, and our last bead is a white bead. And we stepped up, sewing through two beads, and this is what we have now. Moving on to row 6, we're going to pick up two black beads, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead. We're at a corner, so we're going to pick up two black beads. One black bead, one white bead. Make sure you put your white beads and your pearl beads far away from each other so you don't get them confused. I almost picked up a pearl. One more white bead, one black bead, two black beads, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead, and our last bead of this row is a white bead. We're going to sew through two beads because we are stepping up. Row 7 starts with two black beads, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead. Now we're at a corner again. 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 white bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 white bead, 1 white bead. And we're starting to see the snowflake form. And we're sewing through 2 beads. And that ends row 7. Moving on to row 8, we are picking up 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 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 1 black bead. Turning the corner, we are going to pick up 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 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 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 white bead, and 1 black bead. And stepping up, completing row 8. Now we are on to row 9, starting with 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 1 pearl bead, 1 black 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 bead. Turning the corner, we are going to add 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 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 2 black beads, 1 pearl bead, 1 black 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 bead, and we are stepping up. At one point, put in the comments the colors that you're using, or if you just really like the gnome ornament the way I made it, and that you decided to use the same exact colors. I want to know. Okay, starting row 10, 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 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 1 silver bead. This is what I'm calling silver. This is the crystal AB, and it is an S on the pattern. So 1 silver bead. That's what I call it anyway. I need to pull, I have a little knot in my thread, so I'm just going to pull that thread, straighten it back out. I also need to pour myself some more black beads because I'm running out. And now we're going to get to this next corner, which is 2 black beads. Let me make sure that I'm centered in my camera. I am, yay. Alrighty. 1 black bead, 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 and 2 black beads. Turning the corner, one black bead, 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 and the last bead in this row is 1 black bead, and then sew up 2 beads. Now we are on row 11. We're going to start with 2 black beads, one black bead, 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 one black bead. Turning the corner, 2 black beads, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead, one silver bead, one black 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 bead, and turn the corner, 2 black beads. Make sure you straighten out that tip so it's pointed. 1 black bead, 1 black bead, one black bead, one black bead, one black bead. 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, and 1 last black bead of this row. So we're going to sew up 2 beads. And this is what you should have so far. We are now on our last row, minus the connecting rows, of course. This is row 12. We're going to start with 2 black beads, 1 black bead, 1 white bead, 1 black 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 bead. We're going to do beads all the way across. 1 black bead, and the last black bead in this side, and we're going to turn and put 2 black beads. 1 black bead, 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 1 black bead. We are at our second corner, so we're going to put 2 black beads, and then we're going to do black beads all the way across, one at a time. 1 black bead, 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 1 black bead. Then we have to do the connecting beads after we're done with this side. 1 black bead and step up. So that completes 12 rows, which completes our triangle, but we still have to put our connector beads on. And let me explain to you what that means. So if you haven't seen the first 1 and 2 parts of this video, we have 4 different units that we are making. This one is the hat and nose unit. This one is the beard and shoes unit. Okay, so those are going to connect together. The hat and nose unit is going to connect to this snowflake or snow flurry. oh, I can't remember if I called it snowflake or snow flurry, but this triangle, let's call it snow flurry, it needs the connector beads, and right here you'll see there's a little white bead. Well, that is part of the little puffy on this gnome's hat, right? So we've got to connect them together. So, and we've got to finish that puffy. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our triangle in a way that directs us to the left side, the right side, and the bottom, okay? So some sides are going to have beads, other sides are not going to have beads. So in this case, we are moving in a counterclockwise direction, right? So if you haven't been doing that, that's okay. You might just happen to bead in a clockwise direction. But if you flip it over, then you'll see that you will now be sewing in a counterclockwise direction. And so we're going to consider this side, the one that has the little white bead, as the left side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up a silver bead, and then we're going to sew down the left side and add beads while we're going. So we have one bead at the point. Then we're going to pick up one black bead, one white, oh yeah, sorry, confusing myself. One white bead, one white bead, and then the rest of them down this left side are going to be all black beads. So one black bead, 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 one black bead. Now our thread is coming out the point where what is considered the bottom of the triangle. The bottom of the triangle is going, oh no, our triangle is upside down. So this is the left side we just sewed. Now we're going to do the bottom of the triangle, which is an S bead, and then we're going to sew through all the beads just without picking up any beads. We're going to sew through until we get, and it doesn't matter which ones we sew through, as long as we get our thread all the way down to this point. Okay, so we have one S bead, and we're going to now sew our thread without picking up any beads to this point. Okay, so now our thread is to this point, and it's coming out, and we're still sewing in the same direction. We're going to add our last S bead on. So all three of the points now have S beads, right? One S bead on each point. And now we are going to add black beads all the way down to here. So one black bead, 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 1 black bead, 1 black bead, 1 black bead, and wouldn't you know it, I'm missing 1 black bead. Oh, I can grab it right here. There we go. 1 black bead. Now we have completed adding all of our beads. Now all you're going to do is sew through 8 to 10 of these beads, hiding the thread, and then cut the thread off. And once you do that, you will have completed your snow flurry triangle, and you will see that it fits perfectly. Don't connect them yet. We're going to connect them all together when we do the cap, but just all you need is 5 of these triangles, and then we're ready to make the next unit, which will be this, what I'm calling the top tier unit. We're going to do the top tier next, and then we'll be able to put them all together. I sure hope you enjoyed yourself, and so go ahead and make 4 more of these. We have now finished 3 of the 4 units. I am so excited and am having so much fun. I hope you are too. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.